Everyone's had their own stories with the library community and the bookie community. I know there's a lot of people of who I know do a lot of different things, and sometimes people who aren't library bookies and bookies intersect sometimes, and there's a lot of interesting things that happen depending on how they view things. I know I too have positives and complaints when I talk to people who are bookies, but to jump to a strategy I've thought for quite for a while is kind of a literal one in the dating realm. In relationships, usually, many books and tropes paint them in diverse ways depending on the plot, and in real life, one way to find a romantic partner is by going to a literal bookstore itself and asking someone out about their book that they're reading, and it can lead to a variety of endings. And this type of approach would heavily depend on both people and what they value, for example. I mean, what might be called like creepy here might be called pretty interesting to another. And, like the pros here is that a library bookstore is a quiet place, so people are kinder and less reserved compared to a school environment or work. But the cons are apparent too, such as unavailability of reading a book, being perceived in a different manner. But one specific thing I'm worried about is that many books portray either a character going up to the protagonist as someone who's naturally charming, or someone who has all of the right approaches, or maybe they're a bit awkward, or maybe they do things a little bit differently. But whatever the case is that they still get accepted eventually. Let's say that who behaves differently than the conventional. But all books are unique and have plots to their own details. And I think the approach of going to a random person to ask them out in the library has one type of con here I am very worried about. And if the person being approached believes a partner should approach like them, as a book would do in this manner, becomes a little worrying because they might be setting themselves up for unrealistic expectations. And if the trope is that they might expect what is necessarily impossible in real life, I think that would eventually lead to relationship resentment and because they've been reading a lot of books like that, thinking that, oh, in reality, boys or girls should be doing this. And the thing is that when reality hits with this type of thing, and obviously people have different expectations when that reality hits, and most people are not static book characters, although some archetypes do match. And when talking about a partner to a partner, like the realization is that I think when they realize that like these are just regular people. Like there's not anything that's interesting like regular people like everybody else and not what a book is saying to be. And I think this is such a con though because it's heavily dependent on how much one believes in the trope and who a person who has these internalized tropes fully will indeed step in a lot of friction. But someone who is realistic but has still a little bit of this might be more accepting, but there will be a friction along the way. And it matches the baseball metaphor I've been using because although people are stars like of their own social teams, like no one's gonna hit base runs all the time. No one's going to hit home runs all the time. And there's always going to be strikeouts and failure. Some conversation pitches might veer off track, like the one that I said to the girls. Like, it's a little loud in here, guys. And it is a statistical reality. There is failure, and it is expected. But improvement matters, and that is a kind of impact on that metaphor. But in the book thing, that is what I am worried about because if someone internalizes the trope a little too much, the reality about people might be a little distorted in the terms that there might be some expectations that are unrealistic. Like, I know everybody's going to fail at one point, everybody's going to believe the wrong thing that is natural. If someone believes it, literally, I think that going up to ask people at the library who have the literal sense in that bookstore that is the thing that I have to worry about. And great people as always. The boogie community is great, although I still have some complaints. But I'm just worried that that specific con, internalized book tropes, is kind of a con when going up to library people, even without the expectations of dating.